Hello, everybody. We are live. YTP, Young Titans Platform. There are schools, colleges, and departments to start career. On the other hand, they have leadership training and many technical trainings in each corporation for their workforce. But what is out there for new graduates to excel, find their best career, or once they get started, where do they go? How to grow? There is nothing existing today to fill in this gap. I have plenty of people in this subcategory who are indecisive of their career path or very much confused. YTP is for that and to help young leaders grow and fill in the gap between them and the leadership. And surprisingly, I found a lot of good hearted people who are willing to share their knowledge and mentorship to cultivate these leaders. And of course, as my heart is in it too, and naturally, I had been working with people like that, I grappled this opportunity to bring this group of people into a pot of knowledge a platform. I believe in this platform, professors, directors, seniors, and CEOs, and other well-established givers can come to guide the young titans, and titans from all over can join as our students or candidates to learn, share. And I apologize for me fading out in the screen every once in a while. So I'm still here. I'm not a ghost. I need to fix it next time. What we need from you is to like our Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share it with your trusted friends and family members. And you can go share right now with your Facebook Live. Anyway, let me get into the point and introduce the way this platform is designed. First Saturday of the month, we will bring you. I'm smiling because of my fading away. Bring you a couple of some young titans who are on the way to success and has a heart to share their journey for others benefit. Second and third Saturday of the month, we will bring you one of your mentors, coaches, high-class CEOs, and leader to guide, such as today. Fourth Saturday of the month, we will have a panel with mixed background. And if there's a fifth Saturday in the month, we will wonder and if we want to get together or not, or basically try to confuse you at that time. Each week, there will be a topic that we will discuss on. And of course, there will be chance you can ask live questions. You definitely can ask questions before or later in the Facebook page or via email. Notice we don't have any marketing budget, so we will heavily depend on you to spread it to those who need this help. We are willing to be partnering with you, or we want to hear from you. Comment or email us. Okay. So anyway, now is the introductions for the organization and organizers and speakers. I am Sheikh Jilu Rahman, an engineer by background, and liked leadership, like to work with people, and slowly drawn to people who value people and wanted to learn how they do that. My inspiration are few people that includes my family, my daughter, my sister, my wife, from who I learned a lot of leadership basics. I like to hang out with people. I like to share or teach what I know. And one reason behind that is I know teachers learn the most. So anyway, next I would like to introduce Kamrul. Kamrul, if you'd like to come in and join in our discussion today for welcoming the speaker. Here's Kamrul.
Thank you for having me, and I'm glad that we are co-creating and we are working together for helping our youths and the young professionals across Bangladesh and US. It's my pleasure to be with the Young Titans platform and together with you and all these amazing people from America.
Thank you. Raj, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Raj Kapoor. I'm just glad to be here. And Sheikh and Kamrul, just thankful for you to set up such a platform for young titans. There is so much that in our lives that we have gained and gathered. And it is a platform where we can share that with you. What I feel is that it took me a long time to discover a lot of things. And if I would have known a lot of things that I know now at the age you are at, I could have made some decisions which could have been very different. And so, why reinvent the wheel when you have the people here who have gone through that experience, learned through it? And if we are able to impart that to you, then take what works for you. Listen to the whole thing, but takes what works for you and then make it as your own. This is going to shorten your curve to success. That is what I'll tell you. And the speakers that we are going to be bringing here are some of the best speakers. And it is not just they're speaking from the bookish knowledge, they are speaking from actual experience where they have succeeded after failing many times. So I'm just glad I'm here and I'm glad to add value as we go through. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. And Yan and Arti is not here. Anybody else besides Ron here yet?
I think Halida Appa is there. So
Okay.
she's there as well. She's waiting. Has a
Okay.
seat. Could you please welcome?
Okay. There you
Thank
go. There you go. So yeah. So next, Dr. Halida, if you can please introduce yourself as well.
Sure, thank you. I've been waiting to be taken in, so thanks for letting me. Thank you.
Okay, so just to let all of you know again, okay, I'm still here. I'll come back in a second in visually also. Dr. Halida, she has been one of my inspirations also, and advising me and mentoring me, helping me in few things because of the plethora of knowledge and immense background with heavy duty experience and everything that she brings in. That will help all of us to make this platform even more successful, and we're really looking forward to that. But of course, today's our speaker, let me get to that. I'll introduce you to Ron, who is a U.S. Air Force retired officer. She him and her wife Marty, who is also was in CIA, U.S. Intelligence at some point, and then they are retired. And today I have the distinct honor to introduce him as a speaker. He is a relationship coach and a life coach, and he has been helping me, partnering with me, and mentoring me in many different things. And I'm really glad that he is here today. But let me not take any more time. We are already 11 minutes on the hour, so let's get started. Here is Ron Cooper. Ron.
Hi, Sheikh and everybody. It is great to be a part of this Young Titans platform. Thank you so much for this opportunity to join with you, Kamrul, Raj, Dr. Halida, and I love interacting with people. And as I am able to share some life and work experience, I'm happy to do that. And as has been said very recently, a lot of things are taught in school, but a lot of things that are not taught is the workplace, how to interview in many of those type situations. So what I want to do today is share with you a little bit about the workplace. And Sheikh, if you can pull up that presentation, I'm going to keep talking while you do that. But one of the things that I have learned through experience is the work culture and the culture. And that's a part of our company named the Cooper culture. The culture is the environment that is where you work. There is a family culture, there's a work culture, but it's just generally the environment in which you work. It is either positive, neutral, or negative. What I want to do is help create a very positive work culture, because I am of the belief that work and home should be a continuum when everything is working together. That is, when the work culture is very satisfying, I can go home happy. When my home culture is good, I can have a happy home life, and I can return to work very happy. That's how I view the work and home as being a continuum. And Sheikh, are you able to pull up the presentation? If not, I can work from here.
It is shared. Let me just try to share again to see if that's working. It says share. Okay, there you go.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming up now.
Awesome.
So while this is coming up, we are in a partnership. We, the Cooper Culture, in a partnership with Sheikh, UNext Leadership. I'm also working with Raj, Options Ahead. We together are working somewhat of a consortium where we are sharing each other's experiences, our strengths, and I'm going to address that in the workplace. Let's go to the next slide, Sheikh. Sharing and knowing each other's strengths is very important. Your job skills are what got you hired. Your grades in school, what you learned as a technical skill is what you got hired. Is what got you hired where you are right now. But your ability to relate and work with your fellow workers will frequently keep you there. Let me explain what that means, what I'm saying there. I have learned through experience, and there are statistics that show very clearly people will leave the workplace not because the pay is not good, although some do, but people more often leave a workplace because of other people. That may be a situation where they feel they just don't fit. Your knowledge is not being used. It could be any number of things where you feel you are not appreciated. What I'm going to recommend is that I have a 3-part series on interviewing. The 3 parts are the pre-interview to learn about the company that you'll be interviewing with, the interview itself, and the post-interview, that is after you have interviewed. I'd like to share that with you at the right time, but that will help you prepare for the interview. I want to tell you that in the context of know your workplace culture, you need to interview the company to make certain that you are going to be employed where you feel your talents, your strengths can be best employed. You want to know what that work culture is, because it's very difficult and it's very disconcerting to learn, let's say 6 months into employment, that the workplace that you you thought and hoped would work out well is, as the last bullet says, it could be a toxic culture. A toxic culture is one in which could be included people talk negatively to and about each other. There's just very little positive in a toxic work culture. So you want to know how the people, the leadership in the company for which you are interviewing handle different situations. And quite honestly, part of the interview process is you need to interview the person who is conducting the interview, such that you know exactly how the company operates, and you know everything about the company that you can know, so that you can make a very informed decision. You have the right to say no to any company that they are not the right company that is best for you. Let's go to the next slide, Sheikh. Let's discuss some of the workplace facts. And I just mentioned that people will frequently leave the workplace more often because of the people that are in the workplace, less so because of the pay. I know factually and statistics prove that many people will accept a position of lower pay if they have to, because the environment, the culture is right. It's best suited for them. The work culture will define your work satisfaction. There are a lot of people who, at the end of the day, just say, I'm just emotionally drained because of, and many times you can be emotionally drained because the culture is not one that is conducive to being positive. People will sometimes on social media talk against each other. People during a lunch break or during side conversations may talk about someone else. You could be the target of unfavorable comments. You're looking for in a work environment or a culture where your talents are being used effectively, plus you are aware of yourself enough that you know exactly what it is you are looking for in employment. Let's go to the next slide, Sheikh. So the workplace relationships, I would say that in spite of your engineering skills and being maybe the main reason you were hired, I want to encourage you, be willing to start a conversation. And the work environment is largely defined by how friendly people are. So I'm going to encourage you, always be willing to start a conversation. You may feel that you are a very reserved person, but in spite of that, be willing to say good morning. Be the first one to say hello. Be the first one to initiate a conversation with people. Know your and your teammates' strengths. Everybody comes into the workplace having a strength. It's a matter of knowing your strengths, how you contribute to the team, to the workplace, and just how you best work in, and be willing to learn your teammates' families. Then one of the things that it's a natural dynamic in the workplace. It is possible that a teammate comes into work, they've had something happen in the family the night before, or just something. It could be an illness. It could be just something that has gone wrong. It is my personal opinion that the more you are able to care about and learn a teammate's families, the better the workplace environment will be. Now, you balance that with spending too much time talking with other people and about things that not relate to the company's business. You need to learn that balance. But through all that, you learn to care about your teammates and you're learning your workplace culture. All of that is very important to job satisfaction. Let's go to the next slide, Sheikh. Interviewing. I mentioned that earlier in the process, but I have a 3-part interview process that can help you know what to do before the interview to learn the company. I can help you with the interview itself. And while you are being interviewed, you want to interview those decision makers at the company so that you know exactly what the company is, the culture, everything that you need to know. The interviewing process that I have will help you to discern exactly what it is you want to learn about the company so that you can make a very informed decision. Some people will say that or think that I'm the one that's being interviewed. All I'm doing is answering questions. And I'm going to say very definitely no to that. You want to ask the decision makers, the person conducting the interview, about the company. And so you have the right to say no if this company does not align with the culture that you are looking for. So I just offer that to you, and maybe sometime in the future we can discuss those three parts of interviewing. So let's go to the next slide, Jake.
Yeah, Ron, just a quick thing. Since this became an interviewing, I just wanted to stop you for 1 second here, if possible. And
Yes.
the reason behind that is this is a subject or entity that comes in every once in a while, and there are a lot of people who actually ask and stuff. So there's two people, two same background, same school and everything, but they take the interview, and sometimes one is chosen, one is not. So there are a lot of different things, and I know you have sent me some videos also, which I put up there as well for people to see, and they can actually get help. And the things that you said, that's definitely I mean, it's wealth of knowledge in there, and I can tell that it came from not only experience but also with experience of other people that you interacted with. Is that anything you can little bit interact, very short, just to give you an glimpse why people will listen to you, even though, or listen to any of these people who are here, when the technical background and some of the things could be very different. What would be that one or two reasons behind that?
Well, I think it has to do with your interest in the company. That is, if you have studied the company that you're interviewing with to where you have shown an interest that you want to know that company, that's one thing. I will tell you an even greater attribute to me is your values. You can graduate with a 4.0 average, grade point average, or straight A's all the way through. And on paper, you look like you're a very qualified candidate. However, if your values do not align with mine or those of the company, you may not be the best person for the job. So your values, how you can contribute to the company culture, that is how well you interact with people, I'm going to learn from the interview, and I will make a selection based on that. So even though, like I say, even though a person has more work experience than another, I may choose the person with the lesser experience because of two reasons. One, the values that person represents. Two, the second part is that person is teachable, coachable, and that person may learn the job as well or even better than the person with more experience. So I'm looking for a person who is who is very teachable and coachable. Sheikh, does that address your question?
Yes, that's wonderful. I'm sure we can talk about it, and I can have other views and stuff like that. But we'll probably do that at other time, or if time permits later. Yeah, so we can carry on. I'll move on to the next.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next slide. If there's anything that I have said that you would like to get more information, my contact information is right here. Marty, my wife, and I are partnered in our business that we call the Cooper Culture. The emphasis in our business is culture. We can help businesses create a very positive culture where when the culture is in place and the culture is connected relationships with principled leadership, when those two work together, companies have retention rates that are 90% plus, and people choose to stay with these companies. I know for a fact, and any business owner that is listening can know that it can easily cost $60,000 to $85,000 to replace an employee. And what we want to do is try to find the right person for the right position. And I would like to give you the opportunity to stay with my company for 20, 30, 40 years if you would choose to do that. But I need to give you reason to stay with me, and I want to advance you professionally And I want to make sure that our culture is a very healthy culture, and that I have the opportunity to advance you to any position that you would choose. So if there's any part of this that I can help you with, please contact me in any way that you would choose, email or telephone. Either one is good. So Sheikh, I'm available to answer any questions anyone may have, if that is appropriate at this point.
Okay, so I'll open up a little bit more since we have that, and I'll stop sharing because I think that was the end of the slide. So yeah, so Ron, I think that's a very interesting point now. So because we always talk about the interview process and few other soft skills for and I know you are working on the relationship, and that's where you claim to be you as a coach and life coach. So I know initially in my life, I had difficulty and few things I didn't understand. And coming from an Asian or Indian background, then getting married, right, first year of my career start and all those. And then that's one complexity. I got out of a job here in the Midwest, one of the Midwest universities, and with some loans and a financial situation also. So I had struggles with all those things, even though I had a couple of people who in the family who were well established, and they were in such as my father or my uncle. But as far as mentorship, I don't know if I did go to them or I didn't open up that much, or they didn't do as much mentorship. I don't know. And one of them is not live anymore. But however, that struggle, that all the things that I went through, it was, I felt that what I know today, if I could go back and teach my own self to do some things differently, I would definitely know a few things that I'll do slightly different. So what would be your advice on that? Somebody who's just starting or just graduated and they are embarking into their career path, or they're confused, or they got a job which they don't like, or they got a job which is very different from their background of their trainings. What would they do if they had a questions, or if they want to find out they did the right pick or not?
Sheikh, I'm going to start with one response by suggesting that and we have an international community here, but even if we did not have an international community, a lot of the workplace culture is a matter of whether you can accept me. You meaning the work culture. Can you accept me? Do you want to know my strengths? And if I need to know if you can accept me. If I sense by looking at any pictures on the wall, if I sense by talking with the person with whom I'm interviewing, and I want to talk with many people in the company, but if I sense there is a bias against me because of whatever it is, and that some people have a bias about immigrants, albeit they've come into our country, the U.S., legally, some people have a bias. And you may be eminently qualified because of your background, your education, but if there is a bias with the people, they're going to be prejudiced against you, and that's something you need to determine up front. And you may not be able to determine that right away. It could be a matter that you are in the company and you determine that there is a bias, and you feel that your strengths and so forth, you are just not accepted. That's a huge attribute, because I can tell you a part of my personal life is I did not feel accepted in an earlier age, but in the context of a mentor, there were two family members particularly who did accept me. And so, Sheikh, that sounds very elementary, but that's something that as young people are interviewing for a job, that's what you need to determine, because if the company environment is not right, it's almost a promise that you will not be happy. So, and if you need to leave the job, my hope is the culture of that company is such that those people will do what they can to help advance you to find another job. There's some companies, some people who will say, well, if you want to leave, good riddance, just you're on your own. And I hope you find something, but if you don't, you're still on your own. So if the company you're interviewing with cares about people genuinely, then they will do what they can to help you find another job. They won't just throw you into the weeds, so to speak. So I hope that that answers your question, Sheikh.
It does, because I had difficulty. I know. On the other hand, I know some people who was not struggling as much. But I don't know, Dr. Hamida, if you have any question, any comments or anything to add.
I would like to ask a question to Ron, that if you are an early professional and you have started, just finished your master's and you are ready to jump in your career, how would you prepare yourself for an interview? It's very preliminary thing, but I'm talking on behalf of an early career. I'm in the market job. I want to enter into the market job, but how do I prepare myself? So if you give me a few notes how to prepare myself.
Dr. Halida, that's a very important and very perceptive question. What I would do is work with the person to determine their strengths, their personality. What is it that they are looking for in the workplace? And so what is it about the workplace that is very satisfying to this person? What I would do is work with this person for possibly several hours to help them with self-awareness. That is, what are your strengths? What are some things that maybe upset you, that you want to learn about this company and the people, that is this company right and best for you? So I would spend several hours working with the person to help them identify who they are. It's a self-awareness, but I would ask them, well, let's work through what you think the best work environment is for you. What type environment? Is it working alone at your desk? Is it working with people? And I would want to know, and I would develop a relationship of trust that if the person would be willing to share any weaknesses or concerns they have about themselves, let's discover exactly who you are. The next step would be, I would then say, let's look at the company that you want to interview with, and let's study that company to know everything about it, or as much as we can, before we ever go to the interview. And so that tells me that the person is interested enough that they are willing to work as necessary to gain information about the company. And that may take, and it frequently does take, several hours of research. The next phase I would go into is, let's discuss the interview itself. And you need to be very professional looking. You need to be very friendly, have a smile on your face. I recommend being the first one to say hello. In the United States, frequently, we like to initiate a handshake. That may or may not be the culture you come from. I know one thing that's very cultural in various countries is eye contact. There are some countries, some people that do not like to maintain eye contact while you're talking. You need to learn whether eye contact is appropriate, and are you comfortable with eye contact? I am. I like to make eye contact with the person, but I will say that if you're uncertain if the person likes eye contact, be very aware of the person with whom you're interviewing. If they look away from you frequently, that is a sign to me that the person with whom you're interviewing does not like eye contact. And there's a technique that's called mirroring and matching. In other words, I will match your rate of speaking, the volume, and if you're looking away from me, I am going to match you. I want to help you to be very perceptive of what to look for in other people, and you can match and mirror exactly what they are doing. So you're paying attention to the person with whom you're interviewing. You are assimilating information about them, certainly not psychoanalyzing the people, but you want to do the very best you can to effectively relate to them. After the interview, always, always, always follow up with a thank you. A written thank you is always appropriate. And so at that point, you just say, thank you. I'm looking forward to determining if I qualify. Or you can tell them during the interview, I really don't think you are the best company for me. So, Dr. Halida, that's kind of a long answer to your question, but everything I've discussed is very important, and it's the way you project yourself to the person you're interviewing with. I tell people frequently, you want to project a very positive, confident persona without coming across as being arrogant. The more positive you are about yourself, the greater the probability you are that you will be hired. That is my personal experience.
No, that's wonderful, actually. Yeah, I liked it, Doctor. And I do have a question from the Facebook, actually. Somebody named Iqbal or so, I think. There is always a prolonged confusion between whether to follow passion or specific mundane consideration of profession. In the process of choosing career, they also have generalized views on certain disciplines or lines of professions. What a fresh graduate should do to address such issues that have their root in third-party intervention, parents, family, or even friends, and pre-sustaining bits about which even the candidates themselves might not be aware. That was the
Sheikh,
comment.
one of the first things that comes to mind. All right, thank you. One of the first things that comes to my mind in answering that question is, do not chase money. That may sound just very strange, but I know some family members are going to tell you, if you have 3 job possibilities, which one will pay you more? And that is an aspect of chasing the money. I can promise you that the highest paying job will not necessarily be the most satisfying job for you. So while family members are going to give you advice, I would always tell people to make certain you weigh whatever advice you get with your self-awareness. You know exactly what it is you're looking for. And again, I just strongly emphasize, do not chase the money. Do not necessarily take the highest paying offer that you are given, because that may not be the company that is most satisfying. At the end of the day, at the end of a work day, you are either satisfied and gratified that, yep, everything is working in the right direction, these people appreciate me, or they don't. And so the highest paying position may not be the job that is most satisfying for you. That is one of the things that I would work with people to help them with their finances. And here's Raj's area of expertise, financial wealth, financial guidance, that learn to structure your finances around being in financial balance. And everybody has the opportunity to live within their means. It doesn't matter how much money you're making. And so, again, about the third time, don't chase the money.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you said one thing really good about finance. That's another thing. Of course, with different topic every week, we're going to work on it, and we're going to ask your suggestion, your comments, and put them in or email us, so that way we will have those answers as well. But one of the things that Ron just mentioned, yes, finance is a big thing. Money is a big thing, and our money guy, Raj Kapoor, is going to be the speaker next week. So, and I know what it has done for me by going through his courses, his classes. So we're going to talk about that next week. But going back to one of the things that we just talked about, I think this person, Iqbal, was mentioning that, your reference. I always see that most people, even though you may not be doing what your parents are teaching you, telling you to do, and in this time, I guess it's very much like that. People are often going out of their parents' professions, parents' suggestions, and all those things. But however, it is somewhat ingrained in your mind that you have a reference of your success, of your profession and everything, that you compare it with your family, and you look for their expectation or satisfy their expectation, things like that. But we'll get into those things later, in a different topic. I don't want to deviate our discussion, but going back on the relationship and how it works, if Raj, you haven't said anything, or Kamrul, if you guys have any question, anything, any comments, please go ahead.
No, not yet for me. I just listening and getting all the golden nuggets from Ron, and where he's going. Uh, I'm just grabbing
Sure,
things
yeah,
right now.
Kamrul.
That's what it is. But if something comes, I'll be apart.
I think Ron has already said some of the most important aspect of getting ready and preparedness, and also impressing on the interview board, and also selecting the career path. Uh, so, and focusing the, what I want to add is focus on your strength, and how you can also sharpen that ability from wherever you are right now. So without considering the new things which is not your strength, if I measure it, I have some skills which is I measure 6 or 7. I have some of the skills which I measure 1 or 2. So to me is most important and rewarding would be to work on the 6 and 7, so that I can take it towards 8, 9, and even closer to 10. So that could be most rewarding for my career, and connecting with my passion and purposes as well. A lot of time, what happens is actually we tend to also focus on improving those things, but improving those, I think it could be later on. But sharpening the existing top skills could impress and contribute towards directly to the organizations. If you can relate to that, I think that can help, fast forward career space. That's what I wanted to add with this.
Can I add something, Sheikh?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah. What I find preparation for interview is that understanding the organization very well, and reviewing the job description of the job that you are applying for, and see how it matches with your existing skill. I mean, some skills you are going to learn after you have joined, but as Ron was mentioning, yes, definitely, you ask yourself what are your strengths, and then you match with where you are going. But my comment is that given that job description, you have to know how to praise the organizations, some credibility. Like as you are talking, you can talk, I have reviewed the organization and this thing is really nice you are doing, and that attracts me very well. So knowing the organization very well, knowing the culture of the organization and the functions of the organization, and as you are talking during the interview, you articulate those in a more praise fashion, that probably impresses the interview board.
Dr. Halida, in that case, I have a question for you on that topic then. As somebody who is very new, just graduated,
Mm-hmm.
18 years old, 20 years old, 21 years old, who's just getting into the job scenario. So first of all, their leadership and some of the understanding
Hmm.
of the pragmatism is not there completely. So, and from outside also, how would they know so much of that company culture? You can learn about the company and the technicality. How, what would be the way to understand that culture? So are you talking about before the interview, at the interview, or after somebody gets in and working in the corporation?
No, I'm talking before interview. You go to the institution and look at the job types. Look at whether there is more a younger population or it's more a mature population, or you can get some understanding of who you will be interacting with, who will be, and it will tell you the culture. Whether they are taking new graduates or they are taking more very mature type of people. What are you can sense the intention or the management style of the company. You should go and look at all the positions, because they will tell you. If you go to a website, they will say about us, they will talk about the board, they will talk about the levels of people they are working. And if you are field oriented person, okay, you go and look at what are the field activities they are doing, or what are the lab activities they are doing, or what are the project activities there. So that will give you, may not give you the culture, but will give you the age type and the people, designation of those people are other things. As I was talking, that you may not have experience of sharing with others, but you can always refer to your previous education. Like if you are doing a graduation, then what was your what is that they call capstone topic, and what have you learned during the capstone topic, and what are the findings, whether those findings match here or not, or the experience of doing that capstone will be matching here. So somehow you give a reference of whatever you have gained in your life thus far, maybe your relative, maybe your father, maybe your mother, your environment in the house, your teacher could be your somebody, a guide that helps. And if you think that a reference to that teacher will be helping you to enter, or somebody knows. So these kind of things, you really have to do research. As Ron was saying, research. Then research on what? Research on what you have learned, research on how it matches with the organization, organizational culture, and you articulate your topic as you say things. So some things that you have to based on the research very much, and please the board. So that's also, as Ron was also mentioning, eye contact, talking to them. See that out of your four member, who is more attention, who is giving you more attention, and you can look at that person and see, that kind of thing. So it's quite a dynamic understanding of the interview thing. But the more they will do, and I agree with Ron that you don't have to run behind the money, but you go and find out the right place where you can do more. That's important at the beginning, and then you go for money. From there you can find other avenues for earning more money. Thank you.
Okay.
I just want to add a little bit with Dr. Halida, that is um, what the interviewer also wants to see, wants to hear, and before they select, by recruiting this candidate, how he or she going to contribute towards the organization's development and growth. So that is the one of the most important aspect, how I can relate with my expertise with the organization's product and services. And if I can directly pitch, I would do this, and my expertise and knowledge would bring this advantage towards the organization where currently is, and would help the organization to place differently in the market. That's the one moment I think organizations interviewed click. I need this man. I need this candidate because he's going to help my organization. So that's the mindset.
Just one more addition to Kamrul, like nowadays, if you go and apply for a job, they will ask you to share your CV, but also write a cover letter.
Correct.
That cover letter is very important. It talks for you, So I think that's an assessment tool for the interview board for selection. How have you articulated your cover letter? How do you match? So these are important elements. Nowadays, things are evolving. and they look at you. They say, okay, give your CV. It doesn't matter whether it is a 10-page or 5-page, but the cover letter is extremely important, how you articulate. And that's a separate skill that one has to know, how you articulate your cover letter. Maybe you can have a topic, how to write a cover letter for a job. It could be another session.
Yes.
And it's very
Right.
important.
Right, I agree. Yeah. Well,
Sheikh,
regarding the yes, sir.
Sheikh,
Yes.
Sheikh, I'm going to add just a little bit more to what Kamro and Dr. Halida were saying. As
Please.
we can help impress these young titans that what we're saying is very important, the young titan who is very assertive and aggressive will do whatever he or she has to do to get the information. I don't need to lead this person to tell them where it is. They can get it on their own once they know the importance of what it is we're saying. So I am looking for a very assertive, aggressive person, because I know when I have that kind of person, such as everyone on this call, that person, if I have the right work culture, is going to do everything they can to advance my company. That's the kind of person I'm looking for. And
Wonderful.
in turn, I am going to treat you right, because we have the right relationship, and you are here to advance my company. I'm here to advance you. We have a good thing going.
Yeah, yep. And relationship-wise, Ron, one thing I wanted to add, maybe it will get you in a different question set, that how the relationship, what happens, one relationship to the other, and your progress based on that. What I mean by that is, one of my mentors one time told me that if your family, if your home is not right, you won't go too far outside. For the most part, that's probably true. So in other words, if your home is not right, how will you concentrate on your career progress outside, or as an entrepreneur or business or a corporate executive or whatever you are? Anything you have to say on that? Because I know you're a special coach on relationship, and I definitely hats off to you on that. You know how you coach others and what you say to me and to our group. Many times you have done that. But yeah, if you have anything on that, Ron.
I do, Sheikh. Again, I'm going to refer to my previous comment that I, as a leader, want my work culture and your home culture to be a continuum. I will never interfere with you in your home life. I'm not going to tell you how you have to run your home. I want for you to know I'm always available to you should you have any problems with your children, home finances, whatever is not right at home, I know is going to carry into the workplace. So again, I don't want for you to feel that I am going to intrude into your family life, but I definitely want for you to know that I am available. I want for you to know that a good home environment and a good work environment work together. So if there's anything at your home that you would like to have better, I hope I have developed a trust with you that you know that I am here for your greater good, that of your family. And I hope you know that I will set aside time to talk with you about your family, because the better your family life is, the better the home life, the better the work life is, the greater the productivity you're going to be. So it all works together, Sheikh. So that's how I would respond to that.
No, I think I completely take that, and I don't take it lightly. What I mean is that what Ron teaches and the things that we know, what he has helped with his plethora of knowledge and his, I think, is it 49, 50 years of marriage you have completed successfully, Ron, Marty, and you?
Well, September 7th will be September 7th this year will be 52 years.
Oh my goodness. So look at that. So that tells, what kind of a relationship master he is. At the same time, how he built And of course, I mean, that's just one of them, but his life knowledge and life coaching and the tips and finance tips and all those things, those are incredible. So one of these things, in fact, me and my wife Tupa, we have decided that we should go to through one of his courses, the relationship courses that he has, to follow the similar kind of journey, which is it's an unbelievable success story anyway. So these are the people that young titans that you're gonna come and see here in the YTP platform. And of course, if you have live questions, you can always do that. We collaborate with whoever is necessary to make it better, faster, and robust platform for you to grow. But I know Ron's course, that's for example, that's already helped, and his thinking and thought process and associating with him, that was tremendous knowledge for us to gather and implement in our life and career and business and so forth. So I definitely think that what the goal, in other words, what I'm trying to say is that once you come in, the way you come in and the way you get out of this platform every day, every week, is that with more knowledge, with something new you learn and you implement in your life. In this case, is the relationship that Ron just talked about. But anyway, just a little bit of a side talk. Anything else? If not, we'll wrap up soon. We're at the 60 minutes point, even though we wanted to go for 75 minutes, and that's what we are banking in for every week. But definitely, if we don't have much questions or much to
Yeah, I
discuss.
have one thing, Sheikh. I know Ron has mentioned a lot of things, but maybe a brief thing on mentorship in this relationship when you're getting a job. How and what sort of roles can mentors play here?
Yeah, that's a great insight, Raj. Mentors can play a phenomenal role. That it is the most successful companies have a mentorship program. If not formally, it is available. That is, some of us, everyone is going to transition out of a current position at some time. Who is going to replace you? So, are you going to train someone to replace you, or are you just going to take whomever happens to come in and work that way? So you can help the company progress by empowering others to take over your position. That is, as a mentor, you are teaching leadership. You're teaching people relationships. And so I'm not an advocate of only hiring from within. However, if I have identified a young Titan who is definitely what I call leadership potential, or in other words, he or she is an emerging leader, I want to develop that person's leadership skills and relationship skills such that if they don't directly take over my position, they'll be able to take over a leadership position in the company. I know that there are many baby boomers who are retiring and they are going to leave the company, and some companies do not have a transition plan in place. They are going to replace whomever they pull off the street, so to speak, in a leadership position, and they may or may not have continuity of leadership in the company. So, Raj, mentorship is extremely important. And if in my opinion, the most successful companies are ones who have a mentoring program in place. It doesn't just happen by happenstance. It is a formalized program, at least formalized enough that we are making an attempt, as we're doing right now, to let the young Titans know what to expect. We want to pass forward our life experience, our work experience, to do what we can to add value to those who will follow us. So what you asked is very inspirational, Raj, and very insightful. So yes, mentorship is extremely important.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ron. That was a great answer. Thanks.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Um, yes, Dr. Harita, you wanted to say?
Yeah, I'm just thinking as I was listening to Ron, excellent. Um, Maybe another topic sometime. What makes you special? You have gone to interview. There are 10 other people. What makes you special as you enter? What makes you special over the whole period? I mean, we have been talking about that, but if you focus attention, that how you want to prepare yourself again to be a special one. What are the things? Like, just I can give you an example. My daughter, she was preparing for her higher education, and we were in Bangladesh, and she said, "Okay, I need to get an art class." I said, okay, because if I have this additional skill, I will get some points when I apply for a higher education. And there was a fashion show going on, and she wanted to participate in the fashion show. I said, why? She said, no, these are additional skills in my CV that will help me go to a better organization, get admission. These have additional values. While interviewing, do these additional values have any added value as a person, in the workplace? So who you are, additional, how you prepare yourself again is part of the preparation, but how you reflect that you are a good debater, or you do have other softer skills, experiences in you that may be useful for the organization. I don't know. I mean, there are many things that
No,
we.
I think that's a good discussion, Dr. Khalid. I am very interested on that. I mean, I'm a student of leadership, personal development for a long time, and I have people around me, including my wife and many others, who has very high standards, and so I keep improving my standards every day. So that includes all these things. It's not necessarily comparing with anybody, anything like that, but your self improvement. One of the things I say to people is that why do I do hard work, and why do I like to do hard work? I mean, is it easy? Is it compelling? Is it no? It's just something within me because I want to keep my self-image high. That's why I want to do this stuff. And I see that in front of me with many people, including Dr. Harida right here. I know Raj. I know Kamrul. Some of these people. Ron is just the speaker today. We already heard, and then a lot of the other speakers who are going to be coming in this platform later on, and I have seen them, and that's why they were my first. I shouldn't say they were my first selection or anything like that, but I just wanted to be with them, and how can I be associating with them more and more. And what you said, Dr. Haida, that is so right. I know Jim Rohn says the same thing. It's not the environment. You cannot change the season, but you can change yourself. You cannot get uh, uh, things to be expecting and changing. Rather, you can prepare better for handling it better and so forth. So that you can only do when you have skills after skills, and
Yeah, Raj, I'm going to add just very quickly to respond to Dr. Halida. One of the
always
things
learn
that
people
I
who are
help people in the interview process is to answer the question, why should I hire you over some other person? And some interviewers will pose that question in the context that they're two almost equal people. Why should I hire you? And that person with whom I'm preparing the interview needs to be able to answer that question very confidently.
right. Right. So, okay. So, Raj, anything to add from your end?
No, I think that was a wonderful session today, and there is so much that we got out of it. And Ron is an expert at it for years, and coming and taking the relationship aspect of it and putting it in the aspect of how new young titans can actually go and take a look. I think has been a really solid value add. And if people can take just 10% out of what Ron told today, just 10% even, they would be on a different path. And if they can take more, believe me, that's going to be really great. and it adds up on the things. Like Dr. Halida last week, when you spoke, it was just amazing. Your journey was amazing, and from coming from that, adding value from Ron, coming to this point. And so as we keep on going through the weeks, the things are going to stack on each other. So if you haven't listened to Dr. Halida last week, I'm talking to all the listeners and people who will be listening again, go back and listen to it. There are things that you are going to get out of it, which you're not going to get in books, which you're not going to find on YouTube. These are things which are really, really important. And then maybe go back and listen to today's session with Ron. And what I'll say is next week I'll be there talking to you. And what I will be talking to you is as you delve into the new arena of jobs and you take a look at your career, how do you utilize when you start getting that money? Because there are certain things that happen when people start getting the money that it goes off in a different tangent. So we are going to talk all about that. So what I'm saying is that we are going to be stacking up on each other. So each and every show is independent. And so you learn, you get those things. But if you keep on going and listening to all the shows, they are all going to stack up for you to get you to a life that you really can benefit from. So that's for me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Kamrul, any last minute closing from you?
I think it's great. Definitely, it's a combination of great heart and mind. So that's what I can see. Having wealth of experience from the from the service sector to any sector we can imagine. From the Ron coming from the, I think, civil service from the U.S. government, right, from the flying and aviation sector, I believe, to Dr. Halida from the another dimension, to Raj. So it's only going to add value to someone who is going to watch, and that's what our objective is, taking out of these people's life. So that's my invitation for all of everybody watching, and would want to invite all of you just to spread and share for others' help, because this is our effort for all of you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Kamrul. And just to everybody's knowledge who are not knowing Kamrul, he is a wonderful entrepreneur who I happen to be in the similar community, and that's how I kind of know him and started a wonderful, adventurous, and surely needed platform in Bangladesh, which is called CKH Network, and he's helping the youth, the young, the students of and putting together students and hundreds of universities in Bangladesh. So that's a wonderful effort. So we're glad to add value to you and your network as well. Dr. Halida, any last minute thought, any closing? Because as you definitely value your time and we don't take it lightly.
Thank you, Sheikh. This is a great start. And I think, as Raj mentioned, we are snowballing. So we accumulate what we learn first, then we add on to that, and then we add on to that. And I think for the young titans, they should take notes, write it down. I have taken notes. This is one page. Look at this. I take notes so that it comes into my mind. It gives images. And as I talk, I have a lot of notes. So I know it's everybody's own style, but I think great start. I must congratulate our team members here. It's always my pleasure to be in this forum and talk about it. I'll be talking with another university. It's life and leadership. They wanted me to talk about life, like my mother and then my daughter, and how we have struggled to move on in our lives. People are moving on. So there are many life stories that one can share. These are practical things, and then that impresses people more than general talking. So we can give that pleasure of sharing our life struggles, life achievements, and you all have a lot to share. Thank you very much.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Halida. Ron, as a speaker, do you have any closing to for today? Any last moment thoughts?
No, I don't think there's anything more I can add. We have some very gifted speakers and people with us right now, and just happy to be able to share with you and everyone. Sheikh, thank you for organizing this.
Oh, thank you very much. No, absolutely. It is my honor to have all of you guys here, especially, I know we had, as Raj said, Dr. Halida was here last time speaking about her journey and a few others, and it was a very short time, but I would like to, have her again at some point soon, because just listening and learning from her and journey and understanding and experience and utilizing that. There's a saying I heard at some point: if you're not making a mistake or you're using your experience and stuff, that's called you're smart. And when you are using other people's experience, that's called you're wise. So that's what our goal is, that you can be here. And I promise next week, I'm not gonna fade away as much, and my background is not gonna be I'm sitting outside of a building or anything like that. Hopefully, other than that, I'm very excited about Ron coming in. Raj coming in next week. August 22nd, Eastern New York time at 12. And definitely that's going to be another mind-blowing session for people who were like me, who were in my kind of shoes. I know that if I had taken some of the courses Raj offers and I took recently with him 15, 20 years ago, my life, my finance could have been completely different today. But with that, I don't want to take much of time. We are at that 75 minutes mark. We will close out. Thank you so much. Thank you, people who are working in the background, CKH Network, and all the technology people, and all the people who have been watching us, and later on will be watching. So to you and to everybody else, and for next week, people, have a great night, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. So,
Thank you, Kamrul. Good to see you again. ঠিক আছে?
thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Raj and Ron.
Everyone.
Thank you.
It's a
Bye,
great
Ron.
platform. I love it.